Happening, everybody. Welcome back to the Zero Excuses podcast. My name is Kenyon Zitska. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Whether you are a first-time listener or you've been with me since the beginning of the show, appreciate you taking time to spend a few minutes with me and join us in the war against mediocrity and averageness and just living life on default mode. And today's topic is going to directly relate to that. But real quick, before we get into today's topic, just real quick reminder, if you haven't already done so, head over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. And also while you're there, subscribe and share the show with someone who needs to hear the messages and the strategies and the tips and the tactics that we talk about here on the show. And secondly, if you are interested in going deeper into these tools and tactics, I have a special opportunity coming up launching April 1st. It's our Discipline Deep Dive 5-week course where we are going to craft the vision and implement the tools and the habits and the routines into your life to build the solid foundation for you to move closer and more aggressively towards your goals and get the results that you've been longing after. If you're interested in that, you can simply go to kenyonzitska.com/DDD for Discipline Deep Dive and get signed up right away. And as a special bonus for those early birds who commit way before April 1st, I will start working with you right away and get you moving in the right direction and just spend more time working closely with me before the masses show up. I know this is going to be a popular course. I've already had a couple people jump in. I'm going to be starting working with them right away. And if you want to get the most value, I encourage you to hop in early. I'm limiting this to a specific number. And if you want to get in on it, I encourage you to do that before the spots fill up. Anyway, what I want to talk with you guys about today is something that I've been observing within many different areas of my life, whether it's work or at the gym or sometimes even in my personal life, is that the viewpoint that you take will directly affect your attitude. And the only concise way I can do that, and I was having a tough time wrapping my head around what I'm actually going to title this episode, but the best way I can concisely say it is it's all about your perspective. It's all about the viewpoint that you take. And if you want to change your attitude, if you want to change your perspective, you have to surround yourself with diverse, high-achieving people. And this is just one of 3 ways that I'm going to go over in today's episode, how you can shift your perspective to change your attitude to a more positive one. And I don't mean to make it sound like, everything's going to be happy and full of rainbow and sunshine all the time. Sometimes you do need to take that negative viewpoint to light a fire underneath your ass to get yourself to move. But whether it's negative or positive, the first way you can radically change your perspective is by surrounding yourself with a diverse group of people within your power circle. And the second way that you can radically shift your perspective is to put yourself into uncomfortable situations, to stretch your limits, to maybe step out of your, as cliche as this sounds, your comfort zone, or even your zone of familiarity. There are some uncomfortable things that we continue to do day in and day out that we find familiar. So even though they're uncomfortable, we tend to keep doing them over and over. But anyways, sometimes simply doing that thing that you have a negative viewpoint on will change your perspective that it's not as bad as you made it out to be, or that it gives you a new appreciation for what that quote unquote thing is. And you learn more about it, and you can simply change your attitude based on the more and more that you experience something. One of the most common things that I like to do is to do a Go Ruck challenge. And that is something, each event is different. Each event, I find a new piece of me within myself that I didn't know. And, these crucible type events, I never saw myself, doing a few years ago, and now I can't get enough of them. So that simple get myself into an uncomfortable position has really changed my viewpoint on those types of events. And you could do that with other circumstances, situations, people in your life. If you have a negative viewpoint on someone, go strike up a conversation with that person. Learn more about that person, especially if that's someone that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, like your boss or maybe a coworker. Attack those things directly. Don't try and skirt around those types of situations. So the third way that you can radically shift your perspective is to simply become more aware of your thought patterns. And you do that by meditating and journaling. Those are the two key things that I like to do that have allowed me to gain a new perspective over my own thoughts, which allow me to gain a new perspective over events and circumstances and other things within my life. So simply journaling and meditating will allow you to see your thoughts more clearly and allow you to reframe your thought even just slightly to get yourself to move in the direction that you want to move. And the best example that I like to give is around public speaking. And is one of the motivating factors of me sitting here behind a microphone talking to you on a podcast. But my negative viewpoint on public speaking was that I'm not a good public speaker. And the subtle shift that I made was I'm not a good public speaker, but with enough practice, I will be a good public speaker. And I feel like I've improved since I started this podcast and have put myself into other situations that, get me in front of a crowd while I'm talking. And, it's more empowering when you make these subtle shifts within your own thought patterns. And, hey, I'm still not a great public speaker, but I keep practicing, I keep improving, and that's very, very empowering. So that's what I wanted to talk with you guys about today on today's episode. I appreciate you tuning in, and just to sum things up, the 3 ways that you can implement into your life right away to radically change your perspective on events in your life. Number 1 is to surround yourself with a diverse group of high-performing people. Number 2 is to put yourself into uncomfortable situations, directly attack those things that you have a negative viewpoint on, go directly towards them. And the third is to observe and make subtle shifts within your own thought patterns. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to also hop into our free closed Facebook group, KennyandZitska.com/group. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, I'm offering everyone a free 15-minute general connection call, whether you want to get to know me better or maybe even discuss today's show or any other show that we've done in the past at more length, at more depth. Happy to do either one. Just go to KennyandZitska.com/call, CALL. All right, guys, that's all I got for today's show. Have a kick-ass day, and I'll talk to you later.